again, ladies and gents, for more epic CS action here for the ESL One New York EU Qualifiers. I'm Vince, joined by Dust, and map 2 will be Train. Gambit did take down Flipside's map. It was laboured. It wasn't an easy one, 19-15 in the end, but they certainly have the advantage now that they move across to their choice of map.
Yeah, Gambit definitely finds a good home here on Trains and very good to them, whereas when you look over at the Flipside team, I mean, they're not terrible on it, but they've had a lot more of a mixed bag of results on it, to be fair. Granted, you do have to take into the account that Gambit has just made a recent roster move, and it's kind of a two changes, not just one. Yes, Fitch is the only roster transaction, but also the in-game leadership has taken a move over to Adren, according to all reports I've seen, and that could certainly, you know, maybe kind of throw a wrench in things as far as how they operate. You never really know. Could also throw a wrench in Adren's individual performance, though it didn't seem to hurt him too bad on Overpass. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to see more from World Edit in particular here from Flipside's map like Train. You need your uppers firing all cylinders. We didn't really see too much from him on Overpass. Markloff as well is someone that can pick up the secondary AWP on this CT side, so I'm curious to see if Flipside come out swinging here or if they end up falling by the wayside, as we've seen so many times here on Train. They pick it a lot, but their win percentage isn't fantastic, both on LAN and offline as well. So let's see what Gambit have in store on their T side. Adrent, Deagle, utility for Mo, everybody else with Kevlar. Already down into Pop Dog as well, Dust. This is pretty aggressive so far. At least they're stacking up like aggression could be on the cards.
Dude, I've seen whole halves where Gambit's done nothing but hit the inner bomb site, so I am not at all surprised that they find themselves looking to hit the inner bomb site in this pistol round.
B is just such a potent site for terrorists to try and aggress on time and time again. Waylander's already going to go down without too much of a fight, and Fitch is deciding to take a long-range duel against USPs. Not always the greatest of ideas, but it seems like it's going to be okay for him for the time being. And he's going to get up close and personal with the Glock, where it's way more powerful. And it will yield him 2 kills and also a third. Fitch teeing off with the 4K and the pistol. Flip side, they don't just hit them. Absolutely smashed.
Yeah, again, and Gambit really do favor the inner bomb side. I wouldn't be surprised if you see them hit it like another 8 or so times before this half is over with. Just really do favor that. I mean, they have some different variations of how they do it. They can sometimes just do it with like one simple pop flash and just kind of flood either up or lower with heavy numbers. They can send equal numbers up or lower. They can throw in some extra smokes, and they make it a little bit more complex. But regardless, Gambit really do have like a knack for just hitting the inner bomb site and doing so very effectively. This kind of looks like they want to do some type of ladder T-con split though against the pistols of Flipside, as we'll see the Mac 10 leading the way. It does go down, but Hobbit follows up with an AK frag.
I mean, we're joking about a thunderstorm.
Nah, yeah, it's definitely, yeah, it's pretty rough out here.
It sounds like you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, I am.
The power of Price compels. Meanwhile, Dozier up close. Gonna whip out on most of his SMG bullets. Decides to switch to his sidearm, but now Markloff is coming with his own decoy. Gonna get plucked from the side by Hobbit. Waylander won't survive too much longer. Now, that wasn't clean. They did lose 3 players. It's going to cost Gambit a little bit, but it's not like Flipside can really do too much in retaliation. It's going to be nades, maybe going to try and carpet bomb the likes of Main. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely not really have too much potential to follow it up, given that they do have to take a full save here. So it'll just be USPs and the 1 P2K on Waylander. A few nades, so maybe a little bit of a stack going towards C-Connector, as you do see 3 pushing through Z. That's exactly what's going to happen. The nades actually all land. They do a fair amount of damage, but can they finish them off is the question.
Doesn't look good, does it?
Nope.
As soon as those nades have been subsided, yes, the damage, there's going to be scars, there's going to be wounds, but all 5 players are able to truck their way through. Now Flipside into another bite. Not going to be able to get an AWP. We'll let it had the choice, but actually went for an M4 with full nades instead. So it's going to be M4s across the board. Does equal no hits, however, and that could be an issue.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how positions will change now with the Drin calling and Fitch on board. Usually Hobbit known for working inner. Dozy always having a knack for liking to work Ivy. Again, though, the team overall does favor just inner executes in general. Looks like we're actually going to see a bit of a swap here, as we have Dozia working with Hobbit in inner halls. Bomb is going to be up top over there as well. Electronic does get aggressive in ladder, and there's actually 2 players playing inner for Flipside, so they seem to have a good read about this.
Yeah, both on the left side, where the likes of flashes and smokes won't be as much of an issue. Typically, the smokes are going to be on the side. They're going to be towards connector ramp, lining up for Markelov. He's done a lot of damage to Fitch, and will finish off what he starts. Additionally, the bomb's been dropped. I'm not sure if he quite spots that just yet. But judging by the 2 rotating players in connector, it would seem that it has. Now, Adren, with max 10, is going to get kneecapped before he even gets down the ramp. So a solid hold by Flipside. No players falling in the process. And they're able to pick up an AWP from one of the corpses of Gambit. So, nice juicy bonus for them.
Yeah, I think it's just Flipside having a good read for Gambit's tendency to go towards the inner bomb site and just picking up on it. Having 2 players in position to hold both entrances in. Also having Electronic under ladder to have a quick rotation if they need be to flank it out. Wasn't really needed at that point. Just a good hold. Mostly from Markelov. That was some good rifle work from him. If you were to pick out a player, it would be him in that one. Still a full buy from Gambit.
Yep, full on buy, including an AWP. Looking for the boost. Allows them to go for 2 separate angles. Going to be counteracted by a smoke and a flashbang. As Will let it just pieces out of that. They're actually going to stick around for a little while longer. Markelov again, able to tee off onto Catwalk. This time it's Hobbit that will find his fate. Standard setup for Flipside now. Markelov going to the back of the site. Maybe trying to make sure he doesn't get naded on such low health. The Gambit are out of too many options. They've got 2 smokes. It's enough to execute on either site. They have 2 Molotovs. With Doshia coming through on Ivy, could be a case of him trying to run interference while the rest of his team piles on B. Hoping that maybe Markelov will rotate through connector. But very similar positions to what we saw last time. This time Markelov's not on the train. And a lot of that's down to his low health. I feel like if he had high health, he would be in the same position again. That's a hell of an entry though by Fitch. And now the low Markelov has to play passive. Can't afford to stand and bang with any of these players, otherwise he will fall very quickly. It's going to be a bomb plant and sentries being exchanged between the 2 teams. Ground now being made up by Adren. He decides to take it to CTs instead. He's picked himself up an incendiary frag onto Blade. And his second one goes the way of Mo before he's traded out by World Edit. And it's going to be a close end to this round. A bunch of action already kicking off. Fitch is low, can't afford to peek. And Mo in the meanwhile on the Catwalk side. They don't have a Molotov to deal with this defuse. And the Molotov's actually going to be tossed out onto Catwalk. 3 seconds left. Markelov is going for the outright defuse. There's not much they can do about this one. Mo comes through for the frag. But it's too little too late. Flipside have got the defuse. And we'll be 2-3 behind Gambit now.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate that Gambit didn't have their own Molotov to put on top of the bomb from up top, and then on top of that, Flipside had their own to stop Gambit from being able to peek out freely and get on the diffuser. So it will be a second round going to Flipside. Gambit with the bomb plant still can put a buy together here. It does include a couple of Galils though, so they are a bit lacking. And again, they're looking for this inner halls push. We talked about it before. They love this inner bomb site, and they're not going to stray from it. But look at the free damage that has just been dealt to Adren. Just through that little spam. Very cheeky indeed. But Gambit still do have a full 5 to hit with. But will they get past the likes of Markelov is the question.
Molly bursting into flames in midair like a firework. Not going to do too much to the oncoming Gambit side. And after a solid clutch in the previous one, this one's gone anything but smoothly for Flipside. They're at least going to get 1 kill out the round by Electronic. And again, he was a monster on the first map. Feel kind of bad for him after losing that. Is he able to scamper away and save his M4? Decides that he actually wants to stand and fight. And that will yield him a 2nd kill.
I know it's a small sample size, but Fitch has actually really impressed me today so far. Some of these entries he's done, he's kind of taken up Adren's role in some of these executes, like leading the way and opening things up. And he's had a couple of really nice entries into that inner bomb site. Had a pretty good overpass as well. Won some key clutch rounds in the first half of that on their CT side on some retakes. And his numbers have been pretty solid, so shout to him. Having a decent debut.
I fully agree with you. I mean, we've seen the other debuts from both Issa and Woxic, who honestly left me a lot to be desired. You know, I want to see more from them before I make a judgment, but it definitely didn't look that great from the match that we saw. But yeah, Fitch has been looking really good, man. I mean, he did well on overpass as well. Wasn't necessarily the standout player for Gambit, but was just struggling along with kills. He's had a bunch of entries, as you say, very impactful frags.
Yep.
Doesn't look bad at all. Yeah, Gambit overall, though, did look rough. I think that's safe to say. They're making a lot of mistakes. It didn't look that well-oiled, but that's to be expected after Zeus has left in such a short amount of time afterwards.
Well, I know you like your... Never mind.
I think I know where you're going with that. Probably best you didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Just because you're already on the edge of getting fired, I think.
Yeah.
With some of the comments you made earlier. So I'll be a friend and I'll say, don't go there, bro. It's not worth it.
Yeah, Wadelander's looking to say this M4 as the chances of him actually making a retake happen are basically 0 as he has no armor, no kit. He's up against 4 players. So he will just back down and Gambit will take this 5th. As the money was reset from Flipside, they should have enough money, though, to get a buy going. But this does hurt they didn't save that M4 because 3 of their players are, like, in the mid-3K range. So that essentially means you can't get M4s on those players. And having one saved over would have been pretty big. It means that a FAMAS has to go on Markelov and Waylander, and Blade will actually take only an MP9. So definitely see the impact that not saving that M4 has had on Flipside in this round.
Well, it was a mini resurgence by Flipside a few rounds ago. Got 2 in a row, one of which was a 1v2 defuse, in fairness. But since then, Gambit have woken back up. Their T-side, their choice of map. And Markelov has already been taken out of the equation early doors in round 8. Seems to me that Flipside haven't been able to get any kind of stable footing so far, thus, in terms of their economy, but also their positions. They're constantly moving, they're constantly antsy, and Gambit are just making the most of that. They are taking every opportunity that is given across to them.
I mean, you also just have the fact that they're just winning really big duels. I mean, Waylander and Blade are sitting way down there at the scoreboard. Meanwhile, no one's really lacking over on the Gambit side, so just in pure firepower, they're winning out in that regard as well. And like you said, Flipside has been definitely stuck in some tough economic times throughout this. As Electronic's aggression at ladder room won't net him a kill in World Edit even coming in with the AWP, so they have a 4-on-2. This should be their round at this point. Blade coming around the blind side of Jim with the MP9, and so this should be almost sealed up. It's only Mo left, but again, he'll get caught in the side by Waylander. So a great turn of events for Flipside, and around where they didn't have a whole hell of a lot. They somehow pull it out. But they do need to worry about being reset again. That's the big problem, as there is still money out there for Gambit to buy into this. Granted, a couple of their players aren't going to be fully decked out by any means, particularly Hobbit and Dozia, but that fear is still out there for Flipside.
I guess it shows as well how much influence they want to put on Fitch. You know, he's got an AK instead of Hobbit. I feel like you want Hobbit to have an AK-47 in this kind of a scenario, but they're saying, Fitch, okay, we trust you with this weapon. We think you've got what it takes. It hasn't quite worked out. Electronic was making sure there wasn't a player that already pushed into the smoke behind him. And that's a huge pick, and you can see that from Fitch's perspective, he was absolutely decimated by that flashbang. Couldn't see a single thing. Full-on snowstorm descended in his eyes. It's a solid first pick, though, by Flipside, able to get themselves out of harm's way, not losing a single point of health in the process. Electronic has gone in for a second. Again, he's feeling it. And that's one way that Flipside can maybe turn their fortunes around in this best of 3. He is going to be taken down by Doja, and that's one of the freer kills that he'll have in this best of 3. Electronic maybe getting a bit too aggressive for his own good. Mo capitalizes on Blade. There's a smoke outside of Pop Dog Will that it's caught in so many different angles. Not sure where to go. It's a beautiful flick in midair, though. Clay Pigeon shooting onto a Dren will give the player advantage back once again to Flipside before it's taken away by Mozorp. Back and forth throughout. Just exchanging right hooks here. The bomb is going to get planted, but it's at the cost of Doja and Mo's life. And Gambit will concede another one.
All I could think of was Defenders when you said right hook. That's like the title
What
of
a
one of the
mean
episodes.
right hook.
Yeah. No spoilers there. That was pretty low key.
Yeah.
And it will be, like you said, a 4th round over to Flipside. Just some good work, particularly via Electronic early on. And like you said, he did overextend a bit, but the recovery was there from Flipside. They were always kind of staying ahead of the curve. Roll that it being a part of that as well with the AWP kind of getting that first kill out of the players trying to push ladder rooms. So Flipside always kind of hung around and around is the point, and they eventually do get the job done. Gambit now onto a fairly low buy. Again, the focus being shifted towards that inner bomb site. At least for now, though they do still kind of sit above ladder, so they can still really shift this as Mo and Adren are still over actually towards T connector. So could actually just see like a heavy ladder split. Blade will be pressing up aggressively.
Aggression certainly is the operative words, but it's not going to work out for Adren as he will go down to Electronic. He was able to get a kill beforehand. Exchange of names decided to come in. Electronic moving from strength to strength. He's really impressed in his best of 3. Showing no signs of slowing down. 11 and 8. As Will Let It's going to miss his opportunity with the AWP. Really should be capitalizing on that. Will it cost them dearly? He does make amends onto Dozier afterwards, but Hobbit's already ran through connector. He's actually waiting for the other players to come through, see if he can ambush them. He's up on the spools. Knows there's a player down on the CT staircase. Checking every angle anyway, but it's unlikely he's going to survive this. Oh, Markloff, you should be getting that kill! Is it going to cost Flipside?
It's going to cost the bomb plant, that's for sure. Now, retaking in a 2v1, they both have kits, they have some utility, they have the health advantage. It should still be a round win for Flipside.
Definitely. There we have it. But as you say, this is a bomb plant. A bomb plant that was completely avoidable.
Luckily, Flipside will at least save the 2 AWPs, so the biggest investment they put into that round will be carried over at the very least. And there still really isn't enough money for Gambit to buy, so they can use this round to play a bit of catch-up, as long as they come out clean. Does give Gambit a chance to do an Armor Tech 9 buy, though, and still have enough money to buy in the next round as well, so that is what that bomb plant has afforded them, a chance to pose a bigger threat in a round like this.
Yeah, you can see 5 smokes across the board for Gambit. I'm going to start to toss them through onto the A side. Hobbit, in the meanwhile, waiting just outside of Pop Dog. Doesn't necessarily paint the full picture as to how this round's going to come down, but speaking of down, Hobbit falls to his death. Helped out by Electronic's MP9. Blade. Electronic are just having a feeding frenzy outside of Team 8. Nothing that Flipside can do to alleviate this any easier. Markov will finish off Adren at the end. 6-5. Flipside have regained the lead. In actual fact, I'm going to make a correction. This is the first time they've been in the lead on Train. For some reason, I thought they started out winning, but actually they've been behind the whole time up until this point.
Yeah, they've won the last 4 rounds in a row, though, and that's really helped them out a lot. They've been able to get their money in better shape. They had the double AWP still out there. But Gambit will be back onto a full buy on this one. It doesn't include an AWP, but still the rifles and all the utility that they could want. Looks like they are going to put a little bit more emphasis on Ivy. We really haven't seen them mess around with Ivy at all this game, I feel like. I feel like it's either been inner hits or some type of split through ladder and T-Con. Ivy's never really been in the cards for them. They're going to try to change it up and try their luck in a different spot. Try to send Fitch across, hoping that he wouldn't be spotted by World that's AWP, and try to get in position to throw the smokes he'd like to see if they can't make some headway and just open up a new route on the map that hasn't really been tested yet. Counter smoke from World Edit, though, does slow them down a bit, but as that smoke begins to dissipate, the utility from Gambit will come out, and Hobbit does find a pick over in inner halls. That might force some rotating and give them a bit more room to work with here on the Gambit side as we do start getting towards the mid-round.
Losing that first player is going to spread the CTs that much thinner. You can see from the perspective of the minimap, 3 players on A with just Markov on B. I say just Markov, but he does have an AWP. He doesn't have the quick rotation via the connector. Electronic has managed to sneak his way up. He's going to take down Fitch. The bomb's been dropped. The long-range MP9 instantly headshots Hobbit. It's not tailor-made for this kind of a scenario. How is Electronic getting these kills?
I have no idea. And the damage on Hobbit as well is kind of the icing on the cake. So not only does he get a man advantage for his team, but he also makes it to where there's a low HP player floating out there that's going to be easier to capitalize on in the future. Now he does commit to enter, and Adren uses that to slip into a gap in Z, cut off the rotation from World Edit, and now it's only Blade here at Ivy to defend against the outer bomb site. He does get the kill, though, and stops the bomb plant, and gets another. What is this round? Explain, please.
I can't. I have nothing for you, bro. Like, Electronic is long-range smashing fools with the MP9 over the AK, and he's coming out ahead,
man.
I mean, he's busting all the cheeks in the world at this stage.
Shout out to Big Hurt.
Big Hurt, peace. 17 and 8, by the way. He got 35 kills on the first map in regulation. He's on for that again, if not maybe even better.
If anyone got that reference, please tweet me, because I'm going to be surprised if anyone did. Hopefully someone did. Makes it worth it. That's the opening kill for Electronic in this round as well as he continues his ways. Waylander, though, gets caught sleeping in the corner by Hobbit. And that might give Gambit a little bit of room as he puts that incendiary down on Z. He really could make sure they get the inner bomb site. He'll use it in a different way, though, and he actually presses up with it, so he could really cause some disturbances here as he does get Markelov. Hobbit with the solo effort right now, and Fitch and Dozier wake up to him to help things along. It's all on Electronic now. Can't count him out, to be honest. He's been nuts.
No, I actually think he's got a real chance in this. It would have been two separate 1v1s, the route that he was taking, but fair play to Hobbit. He picks up a third, and he is top fragging for his team. He's a 13-8, so he's not slouching it this map either. He's having a good performance.
Absolutely.
It's going to hurt the economy of Flipside, though. They're going to dig deep and pull out all of their money. So this is Gambit's chance to maybe take an 8-7 half if they can win this round. And it's just an MP9 in the hands of Blade. We've seen how good that is in the hands of Electronic, though, and a 5-7 to Waylander. But I would say that Blade certainly isn't quite the same level as Electronic in terms of caliber. The way he's been playing is absolutely ridiculous.
We'll say Blade's not been bad individually in this series. He was particularly good on Overpass, actually. I was pretty surprised. Happy to see him doing well.
True, but he hasn't quite been sort of like the Herculean performance of Electronic, who's just been a monster.
As we do see the inner execute coming in here from Gambit. Heavy numbers through lower. Waylander and Warkolov do have a bit of a crossfire here by the bomb train, but it's just not working out. Dozier, the solo effort entry, puts him down. Look at him go. He could ace. Don't think he will, though. The positioning for the last two CTs aren't really going to be there.
Yeah, they want to save. Again, as I mentioned, their economy is completely bodied. They cannot afford to throw these weapons away. The MP9 isn't as important, but keep in mind that Blade has Kevlar, so he could drop that MP9 feasibly and maybe pick himself up an M4 or a FAMAS or something like that. So it's still important for them to save these two. It's nearly 9k, just shy of 9k equipment value. You can't turn your nose up at that when you're in this kind of a scenario. But for me, every time I've seen Flipside play this map, and I've casted them a hell of a lot on Train, their T-side often leaves a lot for me to be desired. They fall into that classic Flipside trap of just doing the same thing over and over and over again. So I really hope from their perspective, when we see them go through to T-side, that they're going to adapt. They're going to play more aggressive as we saw on Overpass. Yeah. Please, Flipside.
I mean, it's basically like, let's take inner halls control, and let's sit with that.
Exactly.
And play default. I mean, that's basically Flipside's T-side. It's like one page long. That's how it works a lot of the time. So, yeah, I definitely feel you on that one. As it looks like they might still have a chance to pull another one over before this half is done and dusted. But as I say, that Fitch and Dozier, as well as a little bit of Hobbit on the side, are able to basically put this into 8-round territory for Gambit. It will do just that. So Gambit do find a way to fit in a few there at the end to actually take the lead back from Flipside. As Flipside were on a bit of a tear there for a while to kind of bring things back, but Gambit want to make sure they move into the second half with that edge, and they will have it.
I'd imagine Electronic feels like he's smurfing at this stage. He's like, why no one help me out here, please?
Why ain't nobody help me?
Exactly. But the thing on overpasses as well, you know, I keep highlighting this because just how well he played on overpass. There was no drop off between halves. He played equally good on CT and T side.
Yep.
So I'm hoping that he can keep that turned up here when they switch across. Now of course going to be on the T side of the map. I'm going to be relying on him to pull out something special, I feel, if they're going to win this one.
That is definitely going to have to be the case here. As Gambit, again, already do have the first map in their hands. They did win overpass and overtime. It was 19-15. Pretty clean 4-0 sweep when it got to the extra rounds. And they are a round ahead here on Train. Every series so far this tournament has been a 2-0. And so this would keep that alive if Gambit pull through. Flat rides on this pistol. So you can get the advantage going into those opening buy rounds. As Flipside will look to just kind of focus up on inner halls themselves, it looks like, as the bomb is making its way that direction, as well as 2 players that have 4 flashbangs between them and 1 Molotov.
Yeah, nothing too surprising about this. As we said before, Flipside's almost go-to strat is to just take Vauxhall's control and try and work off that. But early confrontation is going to see 2 players, 1 each side fall, make that 2 for Flipside. Mo will find the headshot. And now Fitch behind with the USP. Is he able to get any kills? Yes, he is. Good for 1. And the disruption, the chaos allows Mo to pick off Markelov. But there's actually another rotation, and this time it's Electronic who's getting around the back of the CTs, but Hobbit is a step ahead of him on top of the train, just clean wrecks him. So second pistol's gone to Gambit. That's a body blow for Flipside.
Absolutely. Didn't even get the bomb planted there. I mean, between Dozy being able to get the opening kill, that was big, by the way, because Electronic was actually throwing a fake at outer with some flashes, and so that might have given Flipside a bit more room, but when Dozy actually got the opening kill at inner and then spotted more players in box halls, it kind of gave Gambit the idea of what was going on. And also his kill stopped them from being able to get in and get an early bomb plant, particularly with that fast flank from Fitch. That really helped things along. And now it's just going to be a safe push from Flipside over towards Ivy. We actually saw some aggression from Mo. He gets caught at Ivy. Luckily, Hobbit and company able to trade it back. But I mean, Hobbit's playing with fire right now. This Eagle from World Edit.
Look where Mo died from Hobbit's perspective. This is how aggressive he was with the MP9. That's so odd to me. Like, you'd expect it the other way around. If Gambit lost the pistol and they were in a force, maybe then. So you are seriously pushing the boat out quite a bit there. It's going to work for them, though.
Yeah.
As Gambit's superior weaponry comes through with Fitch on a triple. But for a second, when Mo died that early and Hobbit was getting tagged up, I feared the worst for Gambit. I thought that they just made a massive error in judgment.
Yeah, got a little bit scary there, but Gambit still pulled out ahead, and now Flipside are basically onto a full save, so the 11th round for Gambit's looking very likely at this point. And then we'll get the real half started once Flipside get guns in their hands, see what they want to go after. As we, again, Ivy aggression from Gambit. This time they'll be met with no resistance, but Blade will come check it with the P250. Ooh. Blade doing some real damage there. Meanwhile, we do see a Drink getting aggressive at inner halls and finding the frag. Does get traded.
Yeah, ultimately by himself, though, because Doja was playing so passively with his UMP, he couldn't really help his teammate out. The bomb's now been dropped, so that's pretty much the round dropped with it. Doja for an easy double. Blade's going to be coming through. He's got no flanking potential from this, and he will meet the same fate as the rest of his team. So Gambit have done the clean sweep 3-0. Hobbit 20-8. Actually overtaking Electronic now, who definitely has slowed down, but of course his team have got pace in these opening 3 rounds, so let's see what happens when he's got an AK in his hands.
You see Gambit holding on to those UMPs, by the way, trying to see if they can't get a little bit more out of it. They had plenty of money to upgrade, but they want to see what they can do. See if they can't get away with saving the money. As Flipside do look to open up things fairly standard. Not much presence in their halls, though. A lot more emphasis on trying to do something over here towards Ivy, it appears. As I say that, Electronic does begin to meet up with Waylander here to make sure that Brown Halls is in their control. And so this is as default as it gets, and this is Flipside's favorite way to open. Just get all areas of the map under your control, particularly these inner halls, and make sure all your options are open.
Yeah, you will see this quite often, guys, on this half, as we were saying before. And when it's working, it's solid, but the issue for Flipside is when it stops working, sometimes they look like they're out of ideas, and that's where I said earlier, I really like to see some versatility. I'd really like to shift into a new gear and maybe play hyper-aggressive out of team A. You don't see that very often from this team on T-side.
Right.
This is more what you come to expect from Flipside. It's very much spread across the map now. Bomb's actually in Pop Dog, so looking for potential A hits. 40 seconds, though, and all 10 players alive. This is going to have to come down to entry frags, otherwise this round will just slip away. Flash is being thrown into team main, wasting more valuable time from by Flipside. Now Blades to come through. Does get an entry frag, traded out instantly by Hobbit. He's able to cocktail and run away. He's just dodging so many bullets. He's eating up valuable time once again. The flash is followed by Hobbit. Puts it down to just 15 seconds, and now Doji's going to try and flank round the side. He's been spotted, but lands the kill. 10 seconds left. That bomb is about to get planted. It looks like Flipside have pulled it off. It looked incredibly precarious at one point, but fair enough. They got the win. Doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you get it.
Yeah, Team Ace to do it as well. It just came down to a couple of really key entries at the end that if it didn't go their way, they'd lost off the clock. So props to them for getting it done, particularly clearing Hobbit. That sandwich was pretty big. I think without that, they would have been in a lot of trouble. And so that does mean that they get to hang around here. Still money, though, because, again, Gambit did not upgrade those UMPs, so they still have that money saved to get a full buy in this round. That nade lands on Waylander, but Dozia still goes out. And so that is an opening kill for Flipside. They capitalize on it very rapidly. No slow play this time. They're just rolling out to enter as fast as they can. But it is even.
Adren, very low. Just 19 left. Mo, please don't shoot your teammate in the back. Wasn't required anyway. Mo is going to capitalize onto Blade. He went out looking. Maybe hoping a second player would be accompanying Adren on the aggression, but Fitch has been taken. And that's going to make this a very one-dimensional retake now. Hobbit will get the spray through the smoke. Waylander going out maybe too aggressively. And if that sentry goes up into Catwalk, there's not much that Markelov can do. He does have a molly, but he's been naded out of his shoes before he's able to get it done. It's going to be a full-on 10-second defuse, or is it? Well, it takes it down. And if Gambit had a kit, that round was theirs.
That was actually really crazy how that played out, because like Waylander going down with low HP upper, the Molotov getting extinguished, Hobbit sticking the defuse, kind of wondering if the guy's going to get there in time. Then you always have to wonder if they're going to aim at the right spot when they're spamming the smoke. You know, there's a lot of things that play into that, but in the end, Flipside do pull it out. Great opening entry and just a really fast follow-up. Allows them an early bomb plant, and they capitalize. Gambit will now be on a full save, so this is where Flipside can close the gap. Find themselves in double digits right there next to Gambit. You are going to see them again just working that same default. No need to deviate now. It's been working out.
Again, such fine lines between winning and losing for Gambit to put them into economic downturn and turmoil. Aggression by Fitch. He's wishing at any pistol other than USP at that stage. Would have likely been a kill. He got the drop onto his adversary. Meanwhile, Hobbit with a CZ. Seems to get so many CZ frags. Very good with the weapon. Another dink is landing, this time onto Markelov, but again, it's a USP from Adren. As he gets swatted away like a mosquito. Up close and personal as Hobbit. Flashbang destroys him. Blade does the rest. And now Doja and his P250. I think he would have heard Markelov jump to his right-hand side. Will land the frag. There's an AK-47 ripe for the taking. Is this a reality? Is the X-God going to strike again? No. He has been muted.
Jesus, that's brutal, man. All right, then. You took it up a notch.
Back asleep, mate.
It's like you just dropped the mic afterwards as well to stop talking. I like it.
Well, to be fair, I had a drink, but we'll pretend it was dropping the mic.
Yeah.
Ruined my immersion now.
As the buy is back for Gambit, including the AWP in the hands of Mo. So we'll see if they're able to put up a bit more resistance this time, as Flipside will stick to the tried and true. A little bit more focus on enter, though, this time around, as even World Edit will join them with the AWP, looking for that pick. Dozia has been prone to peek that. He was trying to see if he could get one for free, but Dozia this time holds his own at Pop Dog and doesn't give anything. As they are gathering up for the inner execute. Mo's already rotated with the AWP. Fitch is also on his way, so the rotate's going to be right here in time for Gambit. They haven't even made it in yet. There's already 4 players in the area.
Oh, he's just thinking Doja, if he waits the right moment to strike, the double sprays on the cards. Oh, beautiful by Waylander. Reading the situation to perfection, and it's going to give Flipside an 11th round. To spin around, to have the clarity of mind that could be a player in the smoke, has just dominated Gambit. Game well and truly on. Flipside in the advantageous position. Not only is it 11-11, but Gambit likely onto a half-buy.
That's actually ridiculous that Gambit lost that round. They rotated 4 players to enter before the hit came in, so perfect positioning. Dozia gets the opening 2 frags, so you have a 5-on-3, and you have everybody sitting there at enter, and they still lose the round. That is unreal how quickly Waylander and World Edit unraveled that round when it seemed to be in Gambit's hands. Fitch trying his best to be an upset as he does get the opening frag with the CZ. Adren chimes in as well, not like this. Okay, Waylander stops it from reeling away too far. And there you have it. Flipside take the lead back.
He's feeling it, man. He had a really rough first half. Even after these last 2 rounds of heroics, he's 13 and 16. It goes to show how rough he started. But he's finishing strong, and that's all that counts. Electronic, he's up to 22. Hobbit, 25. These rounds are now going the way of Flipside. Double AWP in play. Wait, was that a HE at spawn?
Yeah, I think he just threw it because he wanted to buy something else.
Alright. I got really confused for a second there. I was like, is someone trolling? This is not the time to do it. Molly's being exchanged. Aggression. I love this Flipside. I love that you're mixing it up. This is exactly what I was looking for, and this could catch Gambit off guard. Even though the first kill has gone the way of Hobbit, I can respect this aggression. Marklov caught with a flash outside, and Doshi is able to land the spray. Not just 1, but 2. Then it will go by the wayside. Blade needs to lead by example. Should have the drop onto Doja. Down he goes. There's an AWP trained on his position. Adren's given that away now. It's an AK up against 2 AWPs. This is in the realms of possibility. But both those AWPs have his position zeroed in on. Bomb's been picked up. Blade's going to try and work some magic. He has time to burn. He just caught a glimpse of Mo. Of that, I'm sure, but Mo very much the same. Knew where Blade was. 12 apiece, and they saved both AWPs.
That's big. Gotta worry about the reset, though, because Flipside can still buy here, and if you lose this round, Flipside are waltzing towards map point and ending your chances at a 2-0 dream. Getting this day over with. So we'll see if Gambit can keep it going with that double AWP setup. Flipside will slow right back down. Adren looking to get aggressive with his AWP in inner halls. Might have to do a close range op duel here against Electronic, as he's just around the bend. Oh, Adren takes some damage. He's able to get the kill, though. Probably the best he could hope for given the scenario. Waylander gonna get caught by Dozia, and so the exchange actually favors Gambit. As I say that, though, World Edit on the other end of the map, able to get it back into a 3-on-3.
A bit of a needless peek by Gambit. They have the player advantage. You can afford to sit in and ultimately wait and say, come at us, bros, at that stage. Peeking just gives Flipside a chance to bounce right back. There's still so much time to play with as well. So now it's Gambit that have got to figure out, in this kind of situation, you're typically going to go a 2-1 formation. They need to figure out which site they want to put the 2 players on. Train is one of those kind of maps, though, with Connector. It allows you a quick rotation on either site, but it seems like they're going to completely put their eggs in the B basket, with both players coming into Connector. Now, unbeknownst to Gambit, we have the benefit of seeing this. The bomb's in Team main. They're starting to make a move through with Marklov in 30 seconds. And it seems like Gambit may have just played themselves. Hobbit coming up through the stairs on Ivy. Maybe rotating at the very moment that Flipside decide to pull the trigger on the site. And indeed he shall. He's seen one play. That's going to be all he requires to know what's about to come up. It's on Fitch. There's the spray through the smoke. Solid so far. Looking for a second one. Will deny him. Just in the nick of time as well, because Markelov was a sitting duck. He needed the good guy bodyguard to come into fruition for him. Otherwise, he's a dead man. And now the two M4s are trying to rip through. Walden's missed that shot. That could be so vital. Needed to land that one. The flashbang's being traded out. Doja can't see a great deal, but Markelov is being spammed up through the E-box every second. The passes, though, is one that's going to hurt Gambit more and more. Markelov stuck between a rock and a hard place, but it may have done enough to clutch this round. And indeed, he will. Doja can't get the defuse. Flipside will take the 13-12 lead.
Again, that just really comes off the clock. I think it's just big that they killed Fitch like that, because if he's able to swing around and kill the bomb planner, I mean, that probably goes much differently. That was really the impact frag there. Just bailing. I think that was Markelov who was planning out of a bad spot. So very key kill there. And that does mean that Flipside do have a one-round lead. They are struggling to buy, though, to be fair, but so is Gambit. There's a lot riding on this round, to be honest, economically for either team.
Yeah.
Taking an L here is devastating.
I don't think both teams between the two of them have over $1,000 in their bank now.
Yeah.
Every single play is 150 or below. Many on $0. This could be a 2-for-1 round.
Absolutely.
This is the fulcrum point of this map, more than likely. Potentially even this best of 3 if Gambit have it go their way. Back to default again for Flipside. They're not going to give anything away for free. Now, with Gambit having 2 pistols and 2 UMPs, they may feel pressured to try and look for some information, try and play aggro. Maybe one of the reasons why Flipside are playing so passive, setting up for an anti-eco sort of round.
Yeah, it does make sense. It's also just where they're comfortable playing. Like, when it's your key round that you need to win, you typically are going to go for what you're most confident in. And this default setup is what they feel the best in. As Adrin will sneak up with this CZ. Ooh, this could be really dangerous for Flipside now. This is a great angle that Adrin has. He's going to peek with it. He does. Oh, thought he had Blade there. Dead to rights, takes him down low, but doesn't finish the job. And now it's on Fitch. Same thing happens. Does the damage, but can't finish the job.
There's the issue. As I mentioned, they may have to play aggressively. It's going to be to their detriment. Flipside have destroyed Gambit onto about $2,000 across each of these players, or just under a few of them. So they're into an eco more than likely. I mean, they could go for a force, but you're looking at pistols at best. Maybe just save up, see if you can get something done in the next round. But Flipside, are they really about to take Gambit's choice of map after losing their own?
Yeah, we might see our first map 3 of this bracket. That is for sure. It's looking very good for Flipside right now. It's like you said, Gambit have nothing to work with, and they won't even have very much in the next round either. So, I mean, this is set up very well for Flipside to just go ahead and finish things here on Train and keep their tournament life going a little bit longer, as they will clean up this round, no problem, to be expected, given there was only base pistols out for Gambit. And so there's 15th round for Flipside. Easy just to punch one more through.
So what's Gambit's buy looking like? Okay, it should be M4s across the board. UMP for Doja, so we can afford more nades in the kit. But everyone else with the M4A4. 30 bullets of venom they're going to hope for. 2 Galil still in the hands of Flipside. Surprises me somewhat that they're going to keep both of those, but I guess in the right hands it's still a very solid rifle. And Hobbit's going to go out for a flashbang. I thought he may follow up on that. And when they don't have too many nades to play with at the start of things, that does seem like it's a little bit of a wasted flash, but maybe deciding better of it, realizing just how dangerous that play is. Doja goes in aggressive, and he will give his life away to Electronic, sacrificing himself. But there's nothing really in reward for Gambit. It just seems like a pointless step.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier on Flipside to just go ahead and seal the deal, as they are going to be able to work now with a 5-on-4 with still a lot of time left. There's no utility at all for Gambit, no kits. It all comes down to whether or not they can win some key duels. Yeah, they have the armor at least, but other than that, they are bone dry on everything else.
Pretty much as shallow investment as you could ask for at this kind of a stage in the map and the round. Flash, 4 M4s, no kits. Looking good. It's just got a whole lot worse. Mo's been found out by Electronic, and it's looking like it's the beginning of the end as Gambit 1-0 in this best of 3. About to concede their choice of map, meaning we'll move across the cache for the decider. Adren coming through connectors, gonna get one, but traded out instantly, and Flipside have done it. We're heading to cache.
Well then, there you have it. We will see our first third map of the bracket. It's going to take cash to decide things between these two teams, which will certainly be interesting for a battleground, to be 100% honest with you, just because thinking about these two teams, I mean, honestly, cash doesn't really spring to mind for either team as being like kind of the top of their pool. So it's kind of calm down, but in a different way, where it's kind of in my eyes, a weakness for both these guys. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out and who will move on. Again, for Gambit, it would be a tough pill to swallow. I mean, you're the major champions. They've also had a couple of other really good events throughout this year as well, winning a couple of DreamHack Opens and, you know, getting the finals of CS Summit. And certainly they've done a lot of good to kind of earn themselves a right to some of these big tournaments. And so losing here would certainly be tough despite the roster changing. For Flipside, we know their struggles and what they've been throughout the year, and making it to a big tournament would be a big deal for them. So we'll have to see how that tail ends in a little bit when we go on to our third map.
So stick around, we'll be heading to cache.